All right, for years there was a theory about not killing the leader of a country for fear that they could become a martyr. But my next guest says a dead Ayatollah won't lead to World War III. I'm going to bring in now Hudson Institute senior research fellow Rebeccah Heinrichs. And Rebeccah, so we went to Venezuela. We arrested their leader, even though you can argue whether or not he was duly, legally their leader. Now we've killed the religious head of Iran. How did the thinking on this sort of thing evolve?
Well, hi, Charles. I think that what President Trump has made very clear is that he really wanted to negotiate, obviously, with the Iran regime in order to make sure that the regime did not pose a threat to the United States anymore. When it became very clear that the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, was 86 years old, completely unwilling to make any kind of deal, when the Trump Special Envoy Witkoff was even offering incredible things to the regime in terms of paying for their civil nuclear program, or whatever the offer may be, that they were completely unwilling, and it was because they were so ideologically committed Islamo-fascists that President Trump made the decision the regime has to be different. It does not have to be a democracy, but it cannot be an Islamo-fascist regime, because that poses a threat to the United States, and that's when he made the decision that the regime had to go.
Now, apparently there's some within Iran who have reached out to the administration. President Trump saying that some of the people that they thought could potentially be, folks they can negotiate with have also been killed. So what do you think is going on behind the scenes with respect to finding someone to run that country who'd be willing to work with America and the rest of the world?
Great question. So I think the first part of how we should think about this is what the United States can achieve militarily. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're taking out missile launchers. We're seeking and hunting for missile facilities, missile launchers, IRGC targets. That's, of course, the most radical component of the armed forces in Iran. And then at the same time, we with the Israelis are taking out regime leaders who are refusing to lay down their arms. And we're going to keep doing this, Charles, until we get into place a robust enough, essentially, coalition of leaders inside Iran, coming from their military, I think most likely, who would rather live than die a martyr for Islamo-fascism. And those people, I think, will be more compliant and will work then, of course, work with the United States. I think that we most likely have three-letter agencies working on the ground in there to look for defections. And then, of course, a third party, maybe the Oman or something like that, and doing some negotiating and trying to get defections so we can put together an interim government.
What do you make of Iran attacking its neighbors? Now, many reports are saying they picked these folks specifically because they had U.S. bases, but they didn't attack so far that I know of Turkey or Azerbaijan. So it feels like there's something more going on here.
Okay, so this is a major blunder, major strategic blunder on the part of the regime. It seemed to me as though they believed that if the regime began to fire at U.S. forces deployed in these Gulf states, or just generally their direction, that it would get these predominantly Muslim nations to blame the United States for this war and to side with the Iran regime against the United States. The opposite has happened. So that you have galvanized support in the Arab world, these Gulf states, on the side of the United States, now granting airspace use for the United States and possibly even joining the fight in other ways. The other thing to remember is the Iranians are really bad at targeting, and they're terrorists. So they're aiming at civilian targets because they're easier to hit than military targets.
I know, hotels, airports. This is nuts. Hey, I got less than a minute to go. Wall Street's very concerned about the Strait of Hormuz. It's baffling to me. How could Iran close the Strait of Hormuz when they don't even control their own airspace?
And they also don't have a Navy anymore, Charles, and so they can't. I think that this is sort of a de facto closing of the strait because shipping is very nervous, obviously, because it's a dangerous war zone. But this is just a reminder of why it makes sense for the United States with Israel and our partners and allies to get rid of this regime, get something that's not so dangerous, because they can coerce and threaten global shipping.
Yeah. Just the fact that they can do that and have done that, the fact they attacked their neighbors so quickly means that they were already targeting them. They underscored the fact that they were a threat to the entire world with their actions after getting bombed. Rebeccah, always appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles.